If the thought of self-managing your Airbnb and dealing with guests gives you anxiety, then this is the video for you.
So we're gonna talk about some of the common unpleasant experiences guests have had at our properties and how we've learned to maneuver through these situations to hopefully still get a good review. What's up everyone, I'm Tony.
I'm Sarah.
And we're real estate investors who quit our day jobs by investing in short-term rentals, and we're here to show you how you can do the exact same thing.
The reviews in your listing are so critical to the success of your Airbnb business. The higher ratings you have, the more likely someone will book. And the lower ratings you have, the less likely someone will book. So they go hand in hand. So providing a great customer service from start to finish is the key to getting a good review.
Nice.
Unfortunately, like any hospitality business, things will go wrong and not every guest will love their stay, but how you handle these unpleasant moments is truly the key to the success of your short-term rental business.
Now in today's video, we're going to share the 4 common complaints, issues, etc. that you might get as an Airbnb host and what you should do in those situations.
So first things first, let's just point out that no matter how great your property is and how clear you are in your listing or how communicative you are with your guests, you will not make everybody happy.
Why?
But there will also be guests that have every right to be upset over whatever inconvenience they may have experienced. But it's up to you as a host to make it right. At the end of the day, hosting people is essentially a hospitality business, and treating guests like the receptionist would at the Ritz-Carlton Hotel is what you should be doing as a host.
Now, before we dive into the common unpleasant experiences, here are just 3 quick tips to be mindful of when you're dealing with an unhappy guest. So number 1 is to actually listen to the guest complaints, right? Like really make them feel heard. Sometimes just being able to vent about whatever you're annoyed about is all the relief you need to make yourself feel better. So let the guest vent to you.
Number 2, being empathetic and apologetic. Feeling a genuine apology will make them feel less upset. Saying things like, "Oh my God, I am so sorry you had to go through that," or "That is absolutely unacceptable, I'm so sorry," or "Please let me know what I can do to make things right," whatever you need to make your stay more enjoyable.
And number 3 is being prompt with your response and keeping them updated, because that will make a world of a difference. So answer the call, the text, the message quickly, and it really does go a long way, right? Imagine you go to the MGM Hotel in Vegas and call the lobby to complain about something in your room and no one picks up. Right? It's super annoying.
Super annoying.
So try to be quick with your response, even if you can't resolve it immediately. Just at least acknowledge them and their complaints and let them know that you're working on it.
Also, we just want to add how important it is to have the notifications turned on for Airbnb, Vrbo, or whatever other platform your property's on or other PMS you're using. This is necessary to be able to have those prompt responses.
All right, now let's go through some different scenarios that we've personally experienced as hosts, and are some experiences or situations you might find yourself in as a host as well.
Unhappy guest experience number 1, the "I never got the code" guest. We send our door code 3 days prior to check-in with the title that literally says check-in instructions, and their first line is literally the code, and people will still call, text, message me saying I never got the code, or for whatever reason the door code isn't working. But whatever the reason is, the point is that the guests did not have a smooth check-in process, which is something you get rated on as a host when they get to review you.
The check-in process is like the very first experience that your guest has when they arrive to your property. So if the check-in experience is rocky, it could potentially set the entire tone for the trip to be bad.
First time.
If the guest messages us about like, hey, I don't have my check-in code, I just respond with, your code was sent in the check-in message above, titled check-in instructions, so they know that yes, it was actually already given to them, and then I resend the code so they can quickly access it. Now, same goes for if they call me, you know, or call Sarah, mostly. She'll say something like, hi, oh no, I'm so sorry, what's your name? Then we'll look them up to confirm what property they're at, and then we say, you know, hey, we sent you a message, yada, 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 and then we just tell them what the code is over the phone, and then we also resend it to them through the app that they booked with.
So super simple and easy fix. Let's say I missed their phone call or we didn't get to their message quickly enough, and now this guest could have potentially been locked out of the property for who knows how long.
Let me in. Let me in.
or until they read their messages thoroughly and figured out that they did have the code. But the guest would probably be way more annoyed. So in that case, I would offer some type of partial refund for the inconvenience, even though it was technically not our fault or anything wrong that we did.
So something we've learned over the course of our short-term rental journey is that a refund is better than a bad review. So we've said this many times, right? We're happy to give a $25 refund for the check-in inconvenience in hopes of salvaging that part of the review.
How much you refund really depends on a few factors. One, how much of an inconvenience it really was, and two, how much was their stay.
So let's say they booked for one night and they were only without the code for 10 minutes, right? A $25 refund sounds fair.
And, I just want to add, if they don't even sound that annoyed about it, then I wouldn't even offer a refund. A lot of guests are really cool about it and they're like, oh, don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it, sweetheart.
But let's say they booked 4 nights and the keypad has been glitching their entire stay and they've been having issues with the door every time they try to leave the property. That's super annoying, right? And they have to deal with it during their whole stay until we can get our handyman out there to fix it. So we would refund them maybe $80 for their inconvenience. So it all depends on the length of their stay and how much they paid.
What you want to refund is completely up to you. And you can literally just refund the guest directly through Airbnb or Verbo by hitting the send money, or just tell them that you can Venmo them a partial refund for the inconvenience, and trust me, they will be really quick to give you their Venmo handle. Unhappy guest experience number 2, the sheets are dirty guest. So this is bound to happen. No matter how great your cleaning crew is, they can very much overlook a stained spot or accidentally leave their own hair strand in the bedding while putting in the new sheets, which is not a fun thing to walk into as a guest.
So just like the keypad situation, and really like any others, some guests will be cool about it and tell you, and it's not a big deal, but just want you to know kind of way. But then there are others that are really upset and make it a really, really big deal.
So let's say we have a really upset guest for this example, and they message us saying the sheets are disgusting, I can't believe it, blah, blah, blah. The first thing we do is apologize and say something like, oh my gosh, I am so sorry about that. That is totally unacceptable. Can you please send me photos so I can bring it to our cleaner's attention? This way they feel heard, and so you can see for yourself if the sheets really are dirty.
After that, we would offer a solution, right? Something like ask them if they want our cleaning crew to come back, or maybe first thing in the morning to replace the sheets, or let them know that they can use the washer and dryer if they'd like to do it themselves. And as always, we would offer some kind of partial refund for the inconvenience.
And just like the keypad situation, how much we refund depends on how long their stay was, how dirty it actually was, and how upset they were. We actually had a guest not too long ago that was blowing up my phone super late at 11 p.m. because there was a stain on the comforter that our cleaners clearly overlooked. She was literally going off about it. Obviously, it was too late for me to send our team, and it was only a one-night stay, so I couldn't offer for them to go in the morning to swap it out. So I just offered a larger partial refund than I would have normally because she was so upset. So she ended up changing her tone and was really appreciative that I was responsive and really apologetic and willing to compensate her for the inconvenience. The next day she was like, oh my gosh, we loved it. It was a beautiful house. We had a great time. Then a few days later, we get her review and she scored us a freaking 4 on cleanliness. And this is the only 4 we have for that listing, so it brought our total score down. And then she messaged us a few days later, I don't know if you remember this, and she was like, I actually loved it there and I want to know if I can partner with you guys on Airbnb.
Oh yeah, I do remember that.
I was like, girl, go buy, invest yourself with your 4 stars. But yeah, so it just goes to show that that quick refund and the way I handled that situation pretty much saved that rapport there with that guest, even though she left a 4. Unhappy guest experience number 3, the Wi-Fi isn't working guest.
Now, technical difficulties are inevitable and out of your control a lot of the times, and your Wi-Fi going out is definitely going to happen from time to time. Now, guests don't care what the reason is, it's just they're annoyed that the Wi-Fi isn't working. So the first thing you should do is to confirm that the Wi-Fi connection is actually lost at the property, because sometimes guests just might be putting in the wrong password, or maybe they don't really know how to use the Wi-Fi or something like that, and they think that it's not working.
So what we do is we check our Ring cameras whenever this happens. That's literally the first thing we do. you. The Ring camera at the front of our property is connected to the network. So if I pull up the app, it'll literally say there's no Wi-Fi connection or something like that. And that's a super quick and easy way to confirm that there is indeed a problem with the connection.
Next, like always, is to give an apology for the inconvenience and let them know that you'll work on it right away by calling your internet provider. But before you do that, try troubleshooting with the guests. So typically we have them unplug the router for like a minute and then plug it back in. And a lot of times that can do the trick, and problem solved, no refund needed. Now, before we keep moving, we'd really appreciate if you could give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel, hit the bell for notifications. We're still a new channel. We've got a goal of getting to 50,000 subs by the end of the year. So every new subscriber really does mean a lot to us. So if you're enjoying the content, please subscribe.
Also, be sure to connect with us on Instagram. I'm at Sara Rad, he's at Tony J. Robinson, and follow us on TikTok at The Real Estate Robinsons.
Now, we've also got a really cool, totally free short-term rental analysis calculator that you can download by going to alphageekcapital.com/calculator. Again, totally free. And we've had people email us and message us saying like, hey, this is such a cool tool. You guys should be charging for this, but we're giving it away for free. So go check it out.
And last, if you're not yet an Airbnb host, sign up using our link in the description. You'll get a cash bonus for signing up, and we'll get a small cash bonus for referring you. All right, unhappy guest experience number 4, the it's broken guest.
Now, this guest is upset because something is broken or not working or they can't figure it out. For us, a lot of those things are like the TV or the air conditioner or the fire pit. Now, the TV is probably one of the most common complaints at our Airbnb, specifically one of our cabins in Tennessee, because there's so many TVs. Some are smart TVs, some are old cable TVs with like DVD players. So guests would change the inputs and swap remotes and just make it really confusing for the next guest. So pro hosting tip for you guys, scratch the cable and the DVD players and just have a smart TV to avoid all the headaches and confusions about the TVs for your guests and for you, honestly.
Also, I would say the thermostat. Guests mess with them all the time and can change the function to really make it confusing for you as the host and the next guest. So having a tutorial on how to work your AC and heater is a lifesaver. And we also have a video tutorial on how to turn on the fire pit, the hot tub, and really anything techie in our properties. We've done a really good job of making videos for them and putting them in our guidebook.
So since we have all these video tutorials in our digital guidebook on how to use the TVs, the fire pits, the thermostat, and so on, the first thing we do when a guest reaches out is we redirect them to the digital guidebook and we say, hey, here's a pretty detailed video on how to do XYZ. Now, if they do want us to send someone out, then we'll reach out to our handyman and see if he's available to go troubleshoot, but then we'll communicate with the guests when the handyman will be showing up to the property and we'll give them like a small refund, right? Now, 90% of the time, these things that aren't working are because either this guest or the previous guest like messed something up.
So those are the 4 most common guest complaints that we get as hosts and how we handle those situations.
Now, everyone will handle the situations a little bit differently, but our strategy is being responsive, apologetic, and quick to refund. We feel that that's helped us maintain a super host status, even though hiccups come from time to time from being a host.
And just a reminder that most guests are really just genuinely so sweet and understanding, but to be aware that there will be those guests that are just jerks and are just trying to get their money back from their stay.
Look at little Goblin Jr. Gonna cry.
So don't let the jerk guests get to you. Stay firm and professional and don't waste your time and energy sweating over them.
All right, guys, so we'd love to hear your thoughts, right? What are maybe some more questions that you have or situations you've experienced or maybe are afraid of experiencing that we didn't touch on today? Do you get stressed out or do you not sweat over it? Just let us know how you guys kind of handle these guest complaints.
If you have any follow-up questions, please drop a comment below and we'll do our best to answer them. That's it for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Sara.
I'm Tony.
And we are the Real Estate Robinsons.